My name is Isabella and I'm currently studying in Year 12. I first joined Harrow Beijing in 2019 when I was in Year 6, which was approximately 6 years ago. 6 years ago when I joined Harrow Beijing, I was an average student, maybe a tiny bit above average, but I was definitely not one of the top students in my class, and I knew it. So over these past years, I've tried different things such as making vocabulary lists, reading books, joining different LSAs, and participating in Lambda to improve my English skills. One of the first turning points for me was when I joined the football LSA in Year 6. It was led by Mr. Hilton and then by Mr. Shiran. Mr. Shiran also happened to be my LNL teacher in Year 8. So obviously, he insisted for everyone to speak English on the field. Additionally, because I have many foreign teammates, such as Catherine from South Africa, I was challenged to speak English fluently and logically on the court. In this moment, it was not about the complicated grammar rules. It was more about being understood. And I believe that these opportunities for me to encourage my teammates, call out for the ball, and explain a play is what changed the way I approached English completely. 2 years later, I was still part of my football team, but I also signed up for the Lambda public speaking examination. Eventually, I did end up with a grade 8 distinction, but to me, the certificate was not the important part. It was the constant practice of organizing speeches, structuring my thoughts, and preparing for the impromptu section. For every Lambda public speaking exam, the impromptu section requires students to provide a 1 or 2 minute speech on an unfamiliar topic. I believe that this is similar, if not even more difficult than the IELTS speaking. Lambda has taught me how to stay calm, adaptive, and structure my thoughts logically and effectively under pressure. Beginning my IGCSE era, I made the decision of picking IGCSE history. Mr. Martin, who was my history teacher, has taught me how to analyze things in multiple perspectives and provide a well-balanced conclusion. These skills are directly reflected upon both my academic and IELTS writing. Of course, not everything I did was this dramatic. There are some habits I kept up with that are very simple yet practical. For example, reading. In Year 8, I was reading around 3 to 4 books a month. Now, this doesn't seem like a big number, but I kept it consistent. I read almost everything, from literary fiction to non-fiction to mystery books. My teachers have also recommended me many books related to my subject choices. For example, the periodic table, which was recommended to me by Mr. Aston. Then in Year 11, when all the IGCSE exam pressure started flooding in, I was reading around 4 to 5 books per month. This is not much of an increase, but I've also found other ways to keep learning English. For example, listening to podcasts and audiobooks. To me personally, this is even more important as listening skills are harder to improve than reading and writing. Along with reading, I also started creating my own vocabulary lists. This consisted of words that I find unfamiliar or interesting. Now, if you were to ask me about those words, I might not be able to recall all of them. But I do believe that it's this consistent effort of trying to build connection between unfamiliar words and this exposure of new words that really builds your English skills. Now, these are the efforts that I've made individually. But reflecting upon my growth, I believe that my family has played the biggest role. At home, my mom would read with me. My brother would chat with me in English. And my dad practices his English on Duolingo every day. We have a 200-day streak, so that is a lot. Inevitably, there will be times when I have to discuss story plots with my mom, or help my dad fill in the blank or match up key words. And I believe that this mutual support is what made English something natural to me, rather than a language that I only use in class. Now, my main message to everyone is improvement doesn't happen overnight. It relies on consistent practice and enjoyment in the progress. If you do that, then an IELTS 8.5 will naturally follow.